programs that give you a chance to experience the world together. And what I love about chamber travel is we're in Charlottesville. We went to Italy last year. We're going to be going to Spain. We get to see the world, but we get to see the world together. And I always tell my friends, gosh, there's nothing working better than working with people who love to travel because everybody wants to have a good time. Some things that make CI destinations special, you know, the hotels we use. We use great four-star hotels in great locations. And with Spain, that's right up there. We use the Costa del Sol Hotel, a great property right on the beach. And we're there for 7 nights. Now, this is special because we get to unpack and actually get to use the furnishings in the hotel. You actually get to feel like, you are on a tour, but you're also making that jump to vacation mode because you're unpacking one time, always coming back to the great city center hotel in Torremolinos. So that's nice. Another thing that makes our program special is they're fully tour managed. And what that means is when you land in Malaga, which is only 14 miles away from our hotel, you're going to be met by your tour manager, and she's going to be with you for the entire duration of the trip. And you're going to realize by the third day that she's going to be on your Christmas card mailing list because our tour managers are incredible people that they're sure they're your tour guide, but they are so much more. They're your actual personal concierge while you're taking in the best of southern Spain. And they are there for you. They're there to take this brochure and breathe life into it. And they recognize that, you may be only going to the Costa del Sol region of Spain once in your life. Let's make it the best experience possible. And that's what tour managers do. They're so much more than a tour guide. We'll give you a quick example, then we'll jump into some great pictures. But a tour guide, let's say you're going to go to Seville and you have a tour guide showing you around from 9 to 4. And at 4 o'clock, they're never going to see you again. You're never going to see them again. So their commitment to you while you're on that tour, honestly, may not always be the best. Whereas a tour manager, we work with the same tour managers season after season, year after year. The tour managers, they're there to make sure that you just have an incredible experience. So hotels, selection of tour management, and then having a nice balance of structured tours and leisure time. When I was talking with Andrew about Spain, one thing that came up, beach time. Can we have a chance where we can kind of relax and enjoy and put our feet in the water and walk on the sandy shores of Torremolinos? Folks, I'm going to jump ahead because this is a really pretty picture. Boom. This is right across the street from our hotel. So yeah, you can have as much beach time as you like because with CI destinations, you're not married to the itinerary. You can pick and choose what you want to do. Our programs have a nice balance of structured tours and leisure time. With Spain, we've gotten the feedback that people want more leisure time. So we have 3 optional trips that I'll be talking about as we go through the itinerary. But that's each time. Let's jump back into the program. I'm going to minimize this so we can see all the pictures. Then we're going to turn me off so you don't have to see me. And then we're going to jump on our flight. So, of course, we're flying from Dulles into Malaga. Malaga is a regional airport. So we will have a change of planes somewhere along the way, maybe in Frankfurt, maybe in Amsterdam, maybe in Paris. My goal for our travelers is I like to get you guys in on the earlier side so that you get a little bit more out of that first day. And once we arrive in Malaga, it's nice for you to know you're not going to be on that coach too long. We're going to be met by your tour manager, board your deluxe motor coach. Our motor coaches are typically, 3 years old or newer. There's a shot of one of our groups. And we're going to make our way over to Torremolinos. And Torremolinos is just down the road, just about 14 miles away from our hotel. So that is very special. I mean, it just means you're not on the coach all day on that first day of arrival. We're staying at the Costa del Sol Malia, and it's a great four-star property, city center, right across the street from the beach. As you see here, the property actually has two wings, and this is Torremolinos. And it's, gosh, just an attractive resort town where we're going to call home for 7 nights. And this is the beach right across the street from our hotel. Now, I always like to include a few shots of the property, of course. You know, this hotel is special in that it has spas, it has several restaurants, and great living quarters. So it gives you a taste of what you're going to be experiencing for 7 nights. And knowing that you're in such a great locale that it really does have the perfect balance of structured tours and leisure time. A great property. I mean, we've been using this property for going on 10 years now, and it gets just great reviews. Now, something I love to do because the property is so centrally located, you know, we have a hot buffet breakfast included every day. The breakfast usually starts right around 7:30. Tours start right around 9ish. And what I do, I'll have breakfast on the earlier side. I'll walk to the marina. I'll walk along the promenade. I'll walk in the old town. This is all where your hotel is located. So it's in a great location. And here's a shot of one of our tour managers. And she is, sorry about that. She is there for you to enhance an already great program. To keep the quality high, we've included what we call the whisper system. This is nice because it allows you to hear your tour manager, gosh, from up to 250 feet away. So you don't have to huddle around her saying, wait, what is she talking about? What are we supposed to be looking at? What did I miss? That scenario is long gone because the whisper system just honestly elevates your experience. All right, let's start the tour. So on our first day touring, we're going to take in Granada. And oh my goodness, talk about rich in history, culture. It's one of the most amazing cities, honestly, in all of Spain. And in Granada, it houses the #1 attraction in the entire country of Spain, and that is the Alhambra Palace. Now, you can imagine the #1 attraction in all of Spain. So the lines to purchase the admission tickets, they're going to be 2, 3, 400 people long. And we purchase your admission tickets to the Alhambra well in advance so that you never have to wait in line to purchase a silly admission tickets. Now, I recognize that your time is the biggest commodity in this trip. So I'm never going to ask you to wait in line and buy tickets when we can purchase those in advance. You know, there's nothing better than seeing a line of 200 or 300 people long and just walking right up to the front because your tickets are already purchased. Now, here we are in the Alhambra, and this dates back to 889. I mean, if you're 889, it really has a sense of antiquity here. So within the grounds of the Alhambra, we'll take in the Alcazar. This is the oldest part of the Alhambra, also the highest part. So the views from Granada down below are fantastic. And this is easily where you'll take 20, 30 pictures just to brag about your friends back home where you're traveling at. Yeah, the Alcazar is a beautiful part of the Alhambra. We're also going to take in the general life area. Now, this is where the Nazarene kings and queens, they would call this their residence, and it was the highest point to be closest to the gods. Again, the views are fantastic. The gardens are so well manicured. And what's nice, you never have to, rent a car or navigate your way to Granada. You're on that deluxe motor coach, and it's the same coach, the same driver for the entire tour. And we devote the majority of the day to the Alhambra and Granada. It's nice to know that it's got that nice balance of structured tours and leisure time. So we'll have an opportunity to grab a bite to eat when we're done wrapping up the tour. Here we are still within the Granada Palace, and this is known as the Palace of the Lions. This is where the royal family would have their living quarters. So then we'll make our way back, enjoy the evening in Torremolinos, watch the sunset, and then the next morning we're going to make our way over to Gibraltar. And this is an optional trip, so you can pick and choose if you want to participate in it. For those folks who went to Tuscany, this is similar to an optional being like that of Cinque Terre. So Gibraltar, man, this is the geological formation. We're going to take in the Rock of Gibraltar, and you'll see the full labyrinths and the secret quarters. We'll take in Europa Point, which is the southernmost point of Gibraltar. And this is also known as Trinity Lighthouse. The vistas are fantastic. So from Europa Point, we're going to venture over to Kashmir Square. It's the largest open air market square in the city center of Gibraltar. This is a great place where we can enjoy lunch on the outdoor eateries, and just one area where your tour manager will truly shine. They live near these destinations, so they know the best restaurants to go to that have the meals you're looking for. Of course, in Gibraltar, the seafood is delectable. They also know which restaurants that maybe serve the masses and you maybe want to avoid. That's the beauty of having a tour manager looking out for you. So while we're in Gibraltar, we're also going to go inside the caves of Gibraltar. This is known as St. Michael's Cave. And they actually have amazing acoustics here. They'll actually have concerts and operas within the walls of St. Michael's Caves. It's pretty amazing. And this is all within Gibraltar. There's so much to take in. And as we make our way back, maybe we'll get the chance to see one of the Barbary apes. And this is a nationally protected part of Gibraltar known as the Apes Den. So then we'll venture back, enjoy the evening again in Torremolinos and all that Torremolinos has to offer. And then next morning, next morning is another great day. We'll enjoy a nice hot buffet breakfast. And as I go through the itinerary, I like to mention that I designed it so every day is a highlight. And in the same breath, every day is entirely different from each other. So you're seeing something new every day throughout the program. And Seville's special in that it really blends everything that's quintessentially Spain together, from the orange blossoms to the plazas to the flamenco dancers. And here we are at the main Plaza España in Seville. Two things that Spain is really known for that had the birthplace in Seville would be bullfighting, of course, as well as flamenco dancing. And Seville's a big city. So within the city grounds of Seville, we're going to take in Maria Luisa's Park. This is the largest park in Seville and was really designed for the 1929 World Fair. And the grounds are as equally impressive as the structures. All the tiles in the Maria Luisa Park, such as these here, they're all hand painted. And the folks take great pride in their culture and their traditions. So still within the park, this is just in the park of the Maria Luisa Park, is the Plaza España. And it actually, I mean, this is massive. We'll spend a good amount of time just in the park. This gives you an idea of just how big the Plaza España actually is. It's a great afternoon in Seville. And we aren't even done with Seville yet, because we're gonna have time for lunch. I always like to include a few shots of our travelers enjoying themselves. And I always say, like I said earlier, you meet the best people traveling. And with chamber travel, we start out, not everybody knows everybody, but by the end of the trip, we are all one big happy family. And we've just experienced it on a global network. And here we are still in Seville. We're taking in the Santa Cruz district, which is situated in the heart of Seville. And something Seville is world famous for are the patios of Seville. They have a celebration every May, the Palace of Patios. And the mayor of Seville goes around and judges all the different patios, which are all have all their flowers out. And they have a huge contest, and it's called the Palace of Patios Festival. So we're still in Seville. Now we're going to take in the Cathedral of St. Mary of the Sea, better known really as the Seville Cathedral. It's a Roman Catholic cathedral in Seville, and it's the largest Gothic cathedral and fourth largest church in the world. Let that sink in for a minute. Fourth largest church. It is beyond massive. And the beauty of going on a chamber trip like this is all those details are taken care of for you. You know, you don't have to worry about missing highlights or things like that, because we're taking all the highlights that Southern Spain has to offer in on this program. So adjacent to the cathedral is the Giralda Bell Tower. And it's the city's best known system or symbol, and it actually has a height of 343 feet. Imagine the steps that take you to the top, the views of Seville below. Fantastic. Excuse me. Sip of water there. So the next morning, we're going to make our way over to Mijas. Mijas is only about 45 minutes away from Torremolinos. And it's known as the White Village of Spain. Many artists and writers, they've been coming here since the early 1950s. And here's one of our groups traveling in Mijas. The weather this time of year, you should be, in the high 60s, low 70s, really fantastic traveling weather. Resort casual attire, no need to take the heavy winter jackets or the boots or things like that. Comfortable walking shoes. And here's the streets of Mijas. And of course, you're right by the water, so the seafood in Mijas is fantastic. It's known as the little village on the sea. And you'll find that the streets are lined with artisan's house where they've got the local paintings as well as the ceramics. And the ceramics, these are all handmade, hand painted, and fired right in Mijas. You will actually get to meet the artist who creates such ceramics. Yeah, Mijas is very special. And it's nice because you get to taste the culture. And having that balance of structured tours and leisure time is so important. I've been on trips where I say you're running and gunning. You're out the door at 7, you're back at the hotel by 9. And by the third day, you're not quite sure what you've seen because you've seen so much. That is not a CI destinations trip. We have that honestly perfect balance of structured tours and leisure time. So you can not only experience the culture of Mijas, but you can also taste it as well. The food, the olives, the vegetables. Oh my gosh, it's all to die for. Then we'll make our way back to Tormelinos, enjoy the evening. The next morning, we'll have that nice American hot buffet breakfast. And we're going to make our way over to Cordoba. Now, this ancient city has been declared a World UNESCO Heritage Site, and it serves diverse cultures that have settled in Cordoba throughout the history. And here's the main artery that brings you into the city of Cordoba. And the number one attraction in Cordoba is the Great Mosque. And if you can follow my mouse, these walls are over 20 feet tall, 6 feet wide, and this is the Great Mosque. So, um, going back in time, started back in 785. And so if you look at these little A-frame roofs, these are all supported by these columns. There's over 100 columns in the mosque, and the columns are made up of onyx, jasper, as well as granite, and they all support the great structure of the mosque. We're also going to be taking in the Alcazar. Now, this is the major fortress within the walls of the mosque. And these walls were actually, of course, defensive walls, served to protect the fortress as well as the palace. Here's the gardens within the mosque. So I'm going to jump back here. These are the gardens that we're now taking in. Jump back to the gardens of the mosque. And we'll have some free time to explore, all with the tutelage of our tour manager. And then we'll leave the mosque and we're going to make our way over to the Jewish quarter, a little tight-knit network of little streets in a typical Andalusian flavor. And like in quarter, like in the palace, the patios of Cordoba, you've got the bouquets right here on the patios. And the floral and fauna is amazing. And so for my friends who want to have a little free time, maybe enjoy a spa treatment, walk the streets of Tormelinos, enjoy the beach, you can have a free day here. There's over 22 golf courses within a half hour's drive of Tormelinos. So if there's something special you want to do while you're in the southern region of Spain, you can simply let us know and we can facilitate that for you. So now we're going to make our way over to Ronda. the birthplace of modern bullfighting. And it's divided by the Altajo Gorge, as you see here. So we've got the old town of Ronda on the right and the new town of Ronda on the left. And we'll actually stop right on the Altajo Bridge and have some fantastic photo opportunities. And here's the Ronda's Plaza de Toros. This was inaugurated in 1785. And what you're going to fall in love with in Spain is the culture. Because at this right around sunset in every city, all the locals come out together in their main squares and they talk with one another about the day's events. And it's in these type of scenes you will not see people texting or checking their phones or things like that. They want to have a face-to-face communication with their friends and neighbors. And this is just the start of the evening. And then as the evening progresses, you can have the opportunity to take in tapas bars where you go around and each tapas bar has a different type of appetizer that they serve. And you can go from tapa bar to tapas bar to tapas bar and have just a delectable assortment of different appetizers. And it's one way to get around and experience and again taste the true beautiful culture of Spain. Getting ready to enter into the area of the bullfighting ring right here. And this is the birthplace of modern bullfighting. We're actually going to go on the grounds of the ring. So you're getting a full flavor of the taste of southern Spain. And then on our last night, we're going to have something special. We're going to have a little farewell dinner. And this is fun because everybody's going to come together. And when we started out the trip, maybe we didn't know everybody, but by the end of the trip, we are all one big happy chamber family. And we've just experienced, the best that southern Spain has to offer. And when we board our flight home, which is probably the saddest day, we're going to leave behind a friend in Spain, and that friend's going to be your tour manager. And I love the way our tour managers communicate and build relationships with our travelers. My tour managers, gosh, they have more friends of our travelers on Facebook than I do. And they do that because they're people, and they love our travelers. We've been working with the same tour managers, season after season, year after year. And our tour managers, they know what our travelers expect. And they have no problem delivering and really blowing your expectations, honestly, out of the water. I'll check the chat and see if there's any questions, or I can open up to you guys for questions. Oh, good to Andrea. Thank you. Yeah, the TripAdvisor. I love TripAdvisor because it's the real deal. It tells you all about good and bad. And TripAdvisor has this property ranked, I think, as 12th, if I remember right. But it's a great property, right on the beach. People love it. I love it. Um, Topless bars.
You did sound like you said that, Oliver, but I'm like, I'm over here. Wait a minute, what kind of trip are we offering our
What kind of trip is Oliver planning for? So tapas bars they're small dishes. They're served like in appetizers, and every restaurant has their specialty. No topless bars. That's a first for me. Well, I've never.
Tapas. So Oliver, you had mentioned walking, and we did a lot of walking in Tuscany, and some of it was hard walking. So what's the walking like for this trip?
So when you're in Granada at the Alhambra, there's a lot of steps. I'd say overall, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being challenging, this is probably about a 3.5.
Okay.
Um, there's always going to be a lot of walking in the European programs, mainly because they're built around the city centers,
Right.
and it's best to view them on foot.
Yeah.
You know, like you couldn't drive through Tuscany, I mean, through Florence. You'd have to walk through Florence, and that's probably the hardest day of that trip, um, I would think. But yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay.
You know, you do want to be able to you want to be able to walk, you know, without
Mhm.
a walker or things like that, because there is no ADA
Yeah. Mhm.
in Spain, and it's not necessarily difficult walking, but it's what you're walking on that makes it challenging. You know, often cobblestone streets or bricks and everything's uneven. There's no paved sidewalks or things like that.
Yeah. And as far as the hotel, speak a little more about how the beds are set up, how the rooms are set up. Things are a little smaller than what we're used to.
Yeah, thanks for asking me about that. So they have queen beds. They also have two twin beds. For single rooms are challenging in that in Europe, single rooms are smaller than what we are accustomed here in the United States. For instance, if I go to the Marriott tonight and I reserve a room for me, I'm going to have a king bed. You know, and in Europe, you're not going to have a king bed. You're going to have a tiny room and a tiny bed, and it's designed for one person. And I'd rather be tell people about it now so that your expectations are in line,
Mhm.
because only in Europe do single rooms cost more and you get less. They're smaller and they are limited. You know, the single rooms, those are the first to sell out because the hotel, um, they don't let me have all of their single rooms. They usually give me 4 or 5 per group.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
The
this
option. Go ahead.
this program's open to friends and family of the chamber. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you have a cousin or a relative or a friend, maybe in LA or Denver or Orlando or Detroit, or maybe even Fresno, we could fly your travelers from their preferred airports. They do not have to fly to Dulles to meet the group. And that will actually benefit the travelers. For instance, if I wanted to join the trip, and it's going to cost me probably $600 to fly to Dulles, and maybe to fly to Malaga from Fresno, maybe it costs $300 more, but that's a bargain considering you're not spending $600 to get to Dulles.
Mhm.
Um, I
Mhm.
think about 30% of our travelers did something custom like that last season.
Yeah. And for those that want to upgrade, you
And
will
for
take
those
care of
that
it.
want to upgrade, upgrades are available to give you a guideline. Premium economy is usually starts out about $1,500 additional. Business class usually runs $3,000 to $5,000 additional, and first class usually runs about 6,000 plus additional. And if you want to upgrade, just write which one you prefer on your reservation, whether it's premium, business, first. We'll reach out to you and we'll get you the parameters of whatever it costs. And if you like that, great. And if you don't, great. But it's available for you to pick and choose what you like. How long are the flights? And do you take a group of bus to Dulles from Charlottesville? Um, so the first one's gonna be probably about 7, 8 hours, depending on wind. And that will be to an international airport such as Paris, Amsterdam, or Munich. And then your connecting flight, probably about 2.5 hours into Malaga. And I'll let Andrea address the bus from Dulles to Charlottesville.
Yes, we have a neighbor in our business complex here that provided transportation for us for our first trip, and we certainly will offer the transportation on our second trip. And once I get those rates, we'll then send out the cost to those who have signed up for the trip. But yes, it was so much easier when we could all just meet here at the chamber and get on the bus and let somebody take care of the driving for us. And when you get off that flight
That's
after 9 days and international travel, you want somebody else to drive you. So it was just nice
absolutely.
having chartered transportation to and from the airport.
Absolutely. And folks, I've got to give a big kudos to Andrea because I work with a lot of chambers and I can count on one hand the number of executives that work out the transportation to get their travelers to and from the airport. And I think that is so nice because when you land, you're going to be tired. You're not going to drive to Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And Andrea's kind of like me in that she's given that thought already and wants to make it the best experience possible for you. So you have Andrea to thank for that. Um, Now for those optional trips. Optional, there's 3 optional trips. There's one to Gibraltar, one to Mijas, and one to Cordoba. So you can pick and choose what you like. There's a cost for them, and the cost for Mija or for Gibraltar's is 145. Cordoba is 145, and Mijas is 100. And to show my appreciation for everybody who's in attendance tonight, whoever registers within by next Friday, let's say, you get Mijas for free. And that's just me saying thanks for coming out tonight.
Okay, so for clarity, if someone signs up by when?
Next Friday?
By next Friday, you will throw in the optional tour to Mijas.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. What day is that? Rita has that.
So that's day 6.
Okay. And Oliver, you and I had the conversation about switching because what we enjoyed in Tuscany was having our last full day there just being a free day. Now,
Yep.
it will be an optional day for a tour, but it won't be one of those like mandatory, and I use that word loosely, mandatory tour. It won't have one of those.
Right. So what we've done, we're going to put Cordoba, which typically is on day 7. We're going to put Cordoba on day 8, and then that will be your free day. And then Ronda will then go to day 7.
Yes. For those
And
that want to just have their last day chill or
yeah, and I emailed you that this morning.
I'm sorry.
I emailed you that this morning if you want to put that PDF in the chat or email everybody out.
Okay.
Now, how do you register for this wonderful trip? So on the reservation, on the brochure, this beautiful piece right here, the back page has a reservation page. And you simply complete that, send that along with a check payable to CI Destination, send that to Andrea, and she'll forward it on to us. And then you'll receive a confirmation packet welcoming you to the trip with, frequently asked questions, passport information, and then travel insurance information. And on that reservation form, if you want to extend your trip or you want to fly in early, just write a little note that you want to customize on there and what you think those details might be. We'll reach out to you and take care of that customization. I missed that part.
Yeah, I can share it, Oliver, but you'll have to stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Yeah, there was another question about another way to do payments.
So payments are typically done with the check. You can do a wire transfer if you like. You can also do Zelle, which is a free bank-to-bank wire transfer that all the banks utilize. And then I'll get you my Zelle information, Andrea, and you could share it with people. Now, travel insurance. I highly recommend travel insurance because things happen. And I like a company called Travelex. I like them because they cover pre-existing conditions. They cover your immediate family, and they're a great company to work with. They also allow me to get involved with claims on my traveler's behalf. In fact, I can actually file a claim on your behalf. So we'll send you some information about Travelex in your confirmation packet. And then final payment is typically due 120 days prior to departure. So that would be sometime in November-ish. And then we'll have a document meeting sometime late February, early March, where we'll go over all the travel documents, get all your last minute questions answered and things like that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you could share that information, Andrea. Maybe
Sorry, which tour did you say was going to be um free of charge if we add on saying that we're going and pay something by Friday? I'm sorry.
That's okay, no worries. That's Mijas, the optional trip to Mijas.
Mijas. Okay. Mijas. What day is that?
I think that was day 6 we decided.
Day 6 is Mijas. Okay. And do we have to let you know, or do we have to let you know and have the deposit down by Friday?
No, by next Friday, Andrea can just send me a list of names that qualify.
Okay. Thank you. And what was the duration of this flight again? I'm sorry.
So the first flight should be 7 to 8 hours ish, and the second one should be 2.5 or so.
Okay. Almost the same for Italy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just for clarification, it's called the Tapas Bar.
Tapas bar. Tapas. My last question is Mijas, the one with the White Houses tour?
Yes.
Okay.
The White Andalusian Village.
Yeah, okay. All right. And what's
Andrea, do you know?
Go ahead,
I'm sorry.
Go
Andrea,
on.
do you know if you would be providing transportation for us again to and from the Chambers building?
We will.
Okay, perfect.
Definitely be an option for sure.
Perfect.
So the deposit amount is
sorry, what's your name?
$450 per person.
Yeah. What's the water like at the beach in March? Is it cool?
It'll be warmer than the Pacific. The Pacific over on the West Coast, that is. It's not bad. It's not frigid.
All right. Okay. All right.
It seems like a great location. It really does. I'm excited.
Yeah, the location is location.
Yeah. And for those single rooms, the $450 is a deposit to reserve your spot, but for a single room, it's going to be an additional $650. So just want to write Oliver, $750. Sorry, $750.
$750. Yeah, the single rooms are an additional $750, and you don't have to pay that right now. You
Right.
just have to do a deposit right now.
Right. Yeah. All right. Any other questions for Oliver? Tell your friends, tell your family. We had families joining us in Tuscany and invite them on.
My
Yeah.
sister wanted me to ask Andrea. Cecilia's thinking about going this time actually. Yeah, so she told me to make sure that if they're going to be like a number of rooms that you all are going to have, overall, because she said she read somewhere where it was like limited capacity or something. She was like first come, first serve or something she was saying. So we get from the door, sweetheart. Get from the door.
If we get 40 travelers, I'll
Mhm.
make arrangements for 40 people. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
But Oliver, is there like a cutoff though? I mean, we obviously, you obviously don't want, it'll be easier if you don't have like 20 people 2 months before the trip, right?
2 months before, yeah, that would be fun. That would be a challenging one.
Yeah. Oh,
Because final payments due 4 months out,
4 months.
so at 120 days. But if you had like 40 and I had another 20, I wouldn't put them with you. I would have 2 motor coaches, and
Yeah.
you guys would operate exclusively separate.
Yeah. And it can also affect flight rates, right?
If it's outside 120 days,
Yeah.
like if someone comes to you at 90 days and says, Andrea, we'd love to go, just have them contact me directly, and then we'll work on getting them on the trip if we can, because at 120 days, I will release the group air. So I don't own air I don't have people for.
Right.
And
Okay.
so if someone signs up at 90 days, I will see what the cost of the airfare is. And if it's more, I let the travelers know. If it's the same, I let them know, and then they can decide if they want to move forward or not.
And so right now, that's what, September, the 120 days out. I want to get that out to folks so they will know. So to
Should
your
be.
question, Princess, yeah, the sooner one can sign up, the better. They don't want to be outside of that 120-day window.
Okay.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
It'll be mid-November.
Mid-November. Rita, your question total price again, it's $35.99 per person if they're in a double room, right, Oliver?
Yes.
Single room is going to be $750 above the $35.99. And of course, if you register, sign up by the end of June, you save a whole $100.
Yep. After that early booking date, then the price goes up to $36.99.
Absolutely, Marky. Yeah, most of the people who went on Tuscany, they had if they were in a room with someone, they knew who their roommate was going
Right.
going there. Yeah. Yeah. Do they need to put that somewhere on that form?
That they're a single?
No, if you have two people, like you have two friends joining together and they want to be in the same room, how would you get that information? If
On the reservation form, it has a line for this number 2 participant.
okay,
Sorry.
got it. Oh
There
yeah,
you go.
okay. Yep, there you are. It's right here.
Now, if you want to have information mailed to you, I would need one for each person, because the reservation form, the way it's designed, is it has one address. So whoever's sending that in, that's where your information goes.
Yeah. And it might, Marky, to your question, it may help Oliver if you put that person's name on there also, and they put your name on there. That way he knows these two individuals are looking to share a room together. Because it just has the number. Oh, yeah. There it is. Passenger number 2. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back on over to you, Oliver. So let's see. Here are the days for those inquiring. Day 3, Granada, day 4, Gibraltar, which is an optional tour. Seville, day 5. Day 6 is Mijas. That's the one we would need to know by May 16th. If you sign up by May 16th, the Mijas tour is free. It will be complimentary. And day 8, Cordoba will be moved up to day 7, and Ronda will go to day 8. Wait a minute, Oliver. Hold on. Did you switch it already?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You did. Thank you. Thank you. So this is the correct one. He updated it.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that. I'll make sure we get that on our website. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Has everyone's question been answered? Oh, Rita would like your Zelle info, Oliver.
Just CI destinations.
Okay.
Let's see.
CI destinations. All right. All right. Are we good, everyone? Okay. Well, Oliver, thank you.
You're welcome.
Lots of good information, exciting information. And we're looking forward to another great trip through our Chamber Abroad program and connecting with a great group of our chamber and community members. So, yeah. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, andrea.copeland@cvochamber.com, and we will get them answered for you. All right.
Wonderful.
Okay. Thank you all. Any last word, Oliver?
No, if you guys, my number's on the bottom right page of that brochure. So if you have any questions, you want to reach out to me, that's absolutely fine too.
Yeah, yeah. And Oliver's very responsive. Yeah, so
Sometimes.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Oliver. And
You're welcome.
And do you have a question?
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, thank you for joining us, Ann. All right. Y'all have a good evening.
All right. Take care, Andrea. Thank you again.